In today's chilling story, we'll dive into the mysterious disappearance of Eileen Morris. It's a case that went cold for decades, leaving family, friends, and even investigators grasping for answers. Eileen, a young woman full of promise, vanished without a trace on a seemingly ordinary day, and for years, no one knew what had happened to her. Despite the efforts of authorities, her case remained unsolved, and as the years went by, hope began to fade. But sometimes the truth is buried deep, only waiting for the right moment to resurface. Join us as we unravel the mystery, explore the haunting twists, and discover the startling truths that have emerged after years of silence. What really happened to Eileen Morris? Was she taken, or did she disappear of her own accord? Stay tuned as we uncover the hidden truth behind this cold case. Eileen Morris was just 22 years old when she disappeared on a warm spring day in 1991. Born and raised in a small suburban town, she was known for her bright smile and caring nature. To those who knew her, Eileen seemed like a typical young woman navigating her way through life. She was close to her family and had a supportive circle of friends, with a promising future ahead of her. On that fateful day, Eileen had plans to meet a friend at a local cafe. But as the hours passed, her family grew increasingly concerned when she never showed up. When she failed to return home by evening, her parents immediately contacted the police. Eileen had left her home around noon, but no one could recall seeing her after that. Despite an initial search and widespread media coverage, no clues emerged. The trail was cold, and soon suspicion and worry turned to frustration. Authorities couldn't figure out whether she had been abducted, run away, or simply disappeared on her own. In the days that followed, family members, friends, and even strangers searched the area around the cafe, but nothing substantial came to light. To everyone involved, it felt like Eileen had vanished into thin air. With no evidence of foul play and no witnesses, the case remained a mystery. The investigation into Eileen's disappearance began immediately after her family reported her missing. Local authorities canvassed the area, interviewed people who might have seen her, and checked local surveillance footage, but nothing gave them a solid lead. Her car, which was parked near the cafe where she had planned to meet her friend, was found unlocked with no sign of a struggle. Authorities expanded the search to nearby parks, woods, and waterways, but still, no trace of Eileen was found. The police began questioning her family and friends, probing into her personal life for any clues about potential motives. Was there someone who might have wanted to harm her? Did she have a history of running away? However, no evidence pointed to foul play, and Eileen's family remained adamant that she had no reason to disappear. They were devastated by the uncertainty, but they kept pushing for answers. The case quickly garnered media attention, and community members rallied to help with the search. But despite all the attention and resources being put into finding her, the case went cold faster than anyone could have imagined. Detectives ran into dead ends, and Eileen's face faded from news stories. Time passed, and with it, the hope that anyone would ever solve the mystery of what had happened to her. As the months turned into years, the case of Eileen Morris' disappearance fell into obscurity. The public's attention shifted to other stories, and the pressure on local authorities slowly faded. Eileen's family, heartbroken and desperate, continued to keep her memory alive, but there was no new information to bring them closer to the truth. Without any fresh leads, the case was eventually filed away as a cold case. The unanswered questions haunted her loved ones. Where was Eileen? Did she leave voluntarily, or was she taken against her will? Did someone close to her know more than they were letting on? For the families of missing persons, time often does more harm than good, making it harder to hold on to hope. As years passed, new investigators took over, but the trail remained cold. New technology and investigative techniques weren't readily available, and without new evidence, Eileen's case seemed doomed to remain unsolved. Her family fought to keep her case alive, reaching out to the media and law enforcement at every opportunity. but nothing seemed to bring them any closer to the answers they so desperately sought. And so, the case of Eileen Morris became one of the many forgotten mysteries left in the dust of time. Then, after decades of silence, something unexpected happened. The case of Eileen Morris was reopened, and this time there was hope. Advances in forensic technology, including DNA testing and digital tracking, provided new avenues for investigation that hadn't existed when Eileen initially went missing. It was in 2018 that a breakthrough came. New evidence surfaced that reignited the case. Detectives found that there had been an overlooked piece of crucial evidence during the initial investigation: a partial fingerprint on Eileen's car, which had never been matched to any suspects before. This discovery, though small, opened the door to fresh possibilities. Investigators used the fingerprint to trace a lead that had previously gone unnoticed. They also revisited old witness statements and re-examined surveillance footage from the area around the time of Eileen's disappearance. But the breakthrough wasn't just about the fingerprint. A growing network of amateur sleuths, social media campaigns, and renewed media interest also helped keep the case in the public eye. People who had lived in the area back when Eileen vanished came forward with new information, and the community began to rally again. This time, it felt different. The case was alive once more. As investigators began re-examining the case with fresh eyes, a variety of theories about what had happened to Eileen began to emerge. One of the most compelling theories was that Eileen had been abducted. Given the fact that her car had been left behind and there were no signs of a struggle, many believed she might have been taken by someone she knew. But the question remained: who? Some of her close friends were interviewed again, and new details surfaced that made investigators question whether there had been any tension in her relationships. One theory was that someone close to her might have had a hidden motive. In the months before her disappearance, Eileen had confided in a friend about feeling uncomfortable in certain social situations, hinting at troubling interactions with a few people in her life. Could this person have played a role in her vanishing? Another theory that surfaced involved the idea of Eileen running away. While this initially seemed unlikely due to her tight-knit family and the fact that she had no history of disappearing, some speculated that she may have planned her disappearance after growing increasingly disillusioned with her life and surroundings. It was a stretch, but without further evidence, investigators couldn't rule out this possibility. A darker theory began to take hold as investigators looked at cold cases in the area around the time of Eileen's disappearance. Could a serial offender, whose crimes went undetected, be connected to her case? Could her disappearance be part of a larger pattern? These theories swirled around the investigation, but none could be confirmed without more concrete evidence. The case remained frustratingly elusive, but the theories kept investigators and the public alike wondering: was Eileen a victim of a stranger, a family secret, or something else entirely? As of today, the case of Eileen Morris remains unsolved, though it is not forgotten. The breakthrough in 2018 led to renewed efforts to solve the case, but investigators still face challenges in connecting the dots. The fingerprint found on Eileen's car has yet to be conclusively matched to anyone, and no suspect has been identified with any degree of certainty. However, the case remains open, and authorities continue to pursue leads as they come in. In the years since the reopening of the case, advancements in technology have allowed for a more thorough investigation of the evidence. Modern forensic techniques, such as DNA analysis, continue to be used to revisit the scene of her disappearance, with investigators hoping to finally find a break. Eileen's family continues to keep her memory alive. They maintain a website dedicated to the search for their missing loved one, and every year, they hold a vigil to remember her. Eileen's story has not been forgotten by those who loved her, and the case still captures the attention of the public. While there has been no definitive answer as to what happened to her, the ongoing investigation gives her family hope. In many ways, they still hold on to the belief that the truth is out there, waiting to be uncovered. The case may be cold, but it's not over. As technology continues to evolve and new methods of investigation emerge, there's always a chance that the truth behind Eileen's disappearance could finally come to light.